Today I want to take you through a spreadsheet on how to make an automated class attendance register. If you have a class of 50 or 60 students and you want to be having their register marked daily and automatically without wastage of much time during class time, maybe you have your tablet with a sheet that will be enabling you to take the register. At the same time, you can print that later and have it in a file. Now, like you can see here, we have attendance for the month of. Here I have several months. This is January already. If you see January, this one means, this color means holiday, and this color is for Sunday and Saturday, that is weekends. And then the rest is now the weekdays, that are working days. These are the working days. These are the color for the weekends, and this one is for holiday. You see on this this was the year 2021. This start on 1st 2021 and that 1st 2021. On 1st it was a Friday. 2021 1st January was a Friday, and that was a weekend, a holiday. That's the holiday. If you go for the next year, for the next month, February, you can see the days move. Monday is now here, on 1st is on Monday. If I go to another day, if I go to April, for instance, or May on 1st May is on a Saturday, and that is a public holiday. You can see it's a public holiday. And we also have 14th May is another public holiday. If you go to, you move on, it has shown two colors because this color is to show it's on a weekend and the same time on a holiday. Now, if you go to the next month, you can check another month, like we know October we have a holiday. So we have holidays here. That is on a Sunday, 10th October, there is an holiday, and the 28th October, there is also an holiday. We know this is the holiday was being called Moi Day, and nowadays it's called another day. So on a Wednesday, 20th October, we have another holiday. So let me go back to January, because that is the month I was working with, so that I demonstrate what January. So if you have January here, now I'm using for instance, if I use H, for instance, I go to class, a student was there in the morning, so I use H, but in the afternoon he has not been in class, so I use H. If the student is absent, I use A. A is to mean absent and H is to mean present. So my work only is to know those who are absent and those who are maybe there half day. If there were nobody with a half day, so that means we have all of them, maybe 2 of the students or 3 of the students who are totally absent. So if they were totally absent on this Monday, I know that this is student admission number 9237 was absent during the day, the whole of the day, and 9190 was also absent for the whole day, and also this one. If we had somebody in the morning but was not there in the afternoon, then we can use H. He was there half day. H to mean half day. So I've used H to mean half day and P to mean present. So I will only be dealing with those half day and absent. Then after that, if you go down here, I say mark. I want to mark the register. If I click mark, all students will be marked present. That is the empty spaces. Those spaces that were empty is now marked present. It's now marked present. So we have total students present were 50, and the total students present half day it was 1 student. Total students absent completely were 3, and total number of students were 54. The total number of students, all these are 54. So percentage present is 93.5, percentage absent is 5.6. So you see it has done the percentage for that day, absent and present. So you can go for another day. If all of them are maybe absent, then I go, if it is on Tuesday, I click mark. All of them are marked present. So we can see all of them are marked present. So we had 0, 0, 54, and percent present and 0% absent. So it's a very efficient and very easy method of marking a register, that is automated register, without wastage of time during class time. By just using your tablet, you are able to do this with this Excel sheet. From scratch on how to do this, I'll open a new workbook. And in this workbook, the first in this sheet, I want to have months here. I want to have months here. That is months. And then in these months, I have to write like January. And then January. I have February. And then from there you highlight the 2, and then you drag to get all the months up to December. Yeah, after that you can enlarge this one, the resize this column. Now I can also have all the holidays here, all the dates for the holidays. I can have them here. Holidays. Now for the holidays I resize so that I bring them here. I can now go instead, because you have to copy all of them, you have to name all of them and know the actual dates. So if I copy all these for the holidays, all these dates, I copy, and then I come to this, my workbook, I paste them in there. So we have all the holidays are here. Now you have to define these ranges, you have to define the names so that you make them like the dynamic range. So what you do, if I write all of this, I go and define on formula, you define them, I give it their months, I give it months. You give it months, and then I click OK. I also need to define this one, this range. I go to formula, I say define name, I give it holidays. I click OK. So I have defined those, I've made them dynamic range, such that now if I go to sheet 2, where I want now my work to be, maybe I first of all need to, I can match all this. I say match and center. I say this is attendancy, I call it attendancy for the month of, can have column there.
Attendance so for the month of.
For the month of what? Now I want to have all those months here. I can have them even there so that I have the 2. If all these 2, I can have them matched. I match them, and then I have equal sign, because that is where the months I want them to appear. I start with an equal sign. No, I need them. I need to make a list out of this. So I go to data. This one matched. If you go to data and then you go to data validation, you want to make a list. On this list from where you say equal sign, because we had made the months there to be dynamic, so months. So if I equalize okay, you'll realize that all the months will be appearing here naturally. So I click January and all that. So I also need to have the start date somewhere. Like if I have them here, I say start, that is the start date. You can write start date. start date, I want them
Start.
to appear in these two. I can match them in these two. That will be enough. A match. Now, the start date, how do we have the start date? So it's a formula. We use a formula to have the start date there. And the formula is a date value. So we use date value function. We use date value function to get the start date. Date value equals to date value. So it appear here, date value function. So if date value, then I talk about 1, that is for the start. Start means 1 for the start. So in quotes, then I talk about 1, I cross the quotes. I cross these quotes. Need to cross the quotes and then comma. And then I need to get these months. The months there. Start of a month. Start of this month. Whichever month that will be here. So start of this month. It should be and the start of that month. But not a comma, but we talk about and the start of that month. And the start of that month. Then I have crossing bracket there. I press enter.
44,197.
This is the serial number for the start date. So you have to format it to date. You go there, you right click on that cell and they say format. You go to, if you are using the other version of Office, like Office 2007. You right click, you go to format and then cells, then you go to dates. But this one I can pick short dates, so it becomes there automatically. So I can give that one, if I give it, if I give the font color to maybe, and make it bold for instance. So I can also have end date there. I can also have end date there.
And
Now to have the end date, I'll use of end month function. So I'll talk about equals to end month function. If you write E, you'll see end month function. So if I use that end month function, so for you to get the end month function, the end date, we start with the start date. So I click start date here. Then after start date there, you have a comma. And then the months. The months, it will be the last one of the month. So we talk about 0. So you cross the bracket. Then you press enter.
44,227.
And if you format this, that is a number, you format this to that date, it will be 31st. It will be 31st 01 2021. So I also make it bold. That's the end date. Then from there, I need now to go and have, for instance, let me copy that data of students and because I'm making that register. So what I do, if I come here and copy some data like here, I copy this. That is the student's name up to all the students that you have. You need to have them. If I start them from this point, if I start with them from this point, and then I enlarge this one, yes, then I'm good to go. Here, let me now have the days of the week here. I can have the dates here, a single now dates of the month, first, second, third. And for you to have the dates, I want the start date to be here, this start date to be here. So I'll click equals to, I'll have an equal sign, that is to have start date. Then when I have the equal sign, I click on this start date, just like that. If I press enter
January
here,
1st,
it brings
2021.
the same date here. And therefore, I want to format this to, if you are using 2007, it is easier because you go to, you right click, if you right click here, format cells. On general, this one is open for 2007, whereby you could have written here DD. If you write here DD, then that means it will only be showing the day. But for us, I go to custom dates. Then if you look at general here, if you look here, you will find that there is no DD. That's for one day. There is no DD. And therefore, we can only have like day and month. We can have day and month. So it will be showing the day and the month. So this is the first day of the month. I want the second day of the month. How can we get the second day of the month? Second day of the month, it will be an incremental from the first day of the month. So I need to have a formula that will increment the first day of the month. So if I have an equal sign there, I talk about equal sign, then I use an if function. I say if this C6 is less, as long as C6 is less than, it is less than the end date, as long as it's less than the end date, comma, what is going to happen? Then we shall be having this one, C6, that is the previous cell, plus 1, because it will be incrementing by 1, plus 1. Otherwise, when you go to the end, then it will be empty. Otherwise, if it will be greater, then it will be empty. So if you do that, then when you're done with that, you close that bracket. If I press enter,
44,198.
I format this, right click, say, talk about format cells, custom, then we have said we are using date month, okay. So it is second. Now if I drag this to 31st, if I drag all this, it will bring me, there must be an error somewhere that I have not included. There must be something that I've messed up with. So if you look at let me look at the formula. If C6 is less than end date here, J2, then remember, for it to work, this must be absolute. That is what I've, because we are referring to that specific cell. So we have a dollar sign there, and that dollar sign, it must be absolute, and a dollar sign here. So now it will work.
02 Jan.
Now if you move up to 31st, because January we have 31st, yes, you see it is 31st January. Now we are okay. Now we need to have the days automatically, such that when you change, I need now to have the days here. I need to know which day is this one. For you to know the day this one, we need to refer to, that is, we need to refer to C6, and therefore we use a formula that is text. If we use text function, that's we say equals to text. We have what called text function. It is here. That is text. What we want to see the value here. If that value, we want to see that value, and then it should be showing the day. That is in quotes. That value should be showing the day. In quotes, it should be showing the day. I close the quotes, then I need to close that bracket. If I press enter,
Friday,
it tells me this is Friday. And therefore, if I drag, I'll get all the other days of the month. So 1st January of 2021 was Friday. From there you can be able to see that you have got all the other days. And therefore, the next step is that I want to show the holidays and the weekends. I want to highlight the holidays and the weekends by using a different color. So I need, if I need to highlight these holidays, like I need the Saturdays and the Sundays, that's weekends, to have a different color. Those columns to be highlighted. And where there is a holiday like 31st, remember these are our holidays. That is on 1st January. For January we have this holiday. We go to March, we go to May and all that. So we want all those holidays to be highlighted. Therefore, sorry. And therefore, I'll be using what we call conditional formatting. Now, if I do conditional formatting to show the dates, but before that, for we to know where the holidays are, I need to have an help row here, and in this I want to show where there is a holiday. It has to show me which number it is. Like here we have 1. This is the first one. For this one, if it is this, it will show 1. This one, it will show like 2. It will show like 3 and all that. So for me to know that, I need to have a formula there. That is, I can use an if function and a match, so that it will be matching this cell, if it is this date, if it is an holiday, it has to match it with the sheet 1 holidays and see whether it's an holiday. If it's an holiday, it will put the number of that holiday. If this is 1, it will put 1. If this is January, it will put 1. If you go to March, this April 2nd, it will put 2. So we want to do that by using match and if function. So I'll write an if function and say that equals to if this C6, if
0.
this C equals to if this C6, if that C6 is equal to empty, if it has no value, if it is equal to empty we use double quotes, comma, it shows 1, comma, otherwise it matches, so we use match. It will match with, that is what are we matching, C6. We're matching C6 with holidays, So if you start writing holidays, it will appear here because I had made it dynamic with holidays, comma, is it less than exact match? 0 is exact match, 1 is greater than, you can see them here. So we are talking about exact match, that is 0. We want an exact match. So if I close the brackets, remember I have opened the 2 brackets, so I need to close twice. I close for this one and also close for the first one. I close again for the first one. So if I press enter,
1.
you see here 1 meaning there is no holiday. There is no holiday. That is the first one, 1st January. And the 1st January is for sure it is a holiday. And therefore, if I drag this to the end, you can see others are bringing an error instead of a 0. So what we do, we add if error here. That is, if error, it will be showing here, comma, we shall be having a 0, then I cross this one, I press enter.
1,
Now if I do that, I drag again, good. Now I'm good to go. Now I can now highlight the holidays, and for me to highlight the holidays, I'm using these two. I use what we call conditional formatting. Now on the conditional formatting, I go to conditional formatting. I use a rule, manage rules, and then I use a new rule. I use formula to determine which cell to format. I write the formula here. That is an OR function. That is, we say equals to or you open that bracket, or we are using C5. That is Friday, Saturday, the days now. That is let me start with Sundays. If that is if it is Sunday or Saturday, then it should be, it will highlight with a certain color. That is or C. This one is in C5. That is or C. You can click this, or that is C5, but you ensure it is only 5 that is absolute, equals to Sunday. This one equals to Sunday. If that one equals to Sunday, equals to, in quotes, Sunday, remember it's written as SUN. You cross the quotes, or it can be Sunday, or it is that is the same C and the 5. That is C. That is a $5. Good. Equals to Saturday. That is equals to, in quotes, Saturday is written as SAT. As you can see them here. That is it. Then we close that bracket. If it is that, what is going to happen? We format, and we format by using font. We make the font bold. We come to the border, we make it, we outline that, that if it's Monday, Sunday, it will outline that, outline the border. Then we go to fill, it has to show color. If I use the ones I've used before, that is for holidays, I've used this week color. I mean for Sundays and Saturday, I use this one. That's for Sundays and Saturday. Then I click OK. If I click OK here, I click OK. You see it has highlighted all Saturdays and Sundays. You can see that. For sure it has done that. And therefore I can also highlight the holidays. So for holidays, I want to use let me still highlight the same. I want to still conditional formatting, manage. So a new rule, use formula. I use a formula for the holidays. For the holidays, that is, you have to use count if. It will be counting if it is holiday, even in what? In this this C, in these dates now. Remember, dates are the ones with holidays. In the days, it will be counting if they are holidays. So I use count if equals to count if, you open the bracket, holidays. Remember, holidays, it's appearing on the other side. And what, in which range? C6. I'm talking about this C $6. It will be showing if it's an holiday. If I close the bracket, I close this bracket, I close now the bracket there. Then what else? What will be done if that is an holiday? If it is an holiday, we want it to fill with, I want to use this color. I want to outline border, and I also want to use font bold. I put OK. I put OK. I say apply, and then I say OK. So you can see this is an holiday. But if you change the month, like in April, we know that here, we know April here, 2nd and 5th is holidays. So if I go here and change the month to April, you can see the 2nd and 3rd, and the Sundays retain that, yes. So that is it, and first will be on Thursday. So that is it, and then after you've done, we need to populate now this with the same formatting. With the same formatting, we need to populate this space here. This space here. And we have it up to that point. We go still to conditional formatting. We do manage rules, a new rule, use formula. Now for the rest, the first one for the Sundays and Saturday, we just say what we have done. Yes, we use all, so we will be using equals to all. That is all C $5. That is if it is Sunday, if this one is Sunday, that or Saturday, that is equals to Sunday, that is equals to in quotes Sunday, and it's still the same, that is C5 equals to, in quotes, it should be in quotes, cross the quotes equals to Saturday. We cross the bracket, and then we said that in this case we will not be dealing with the fonts and all that. We will only use the color and the font. The font and the border, I'll only change the font and the border, but I'll not, because the color will be appearing. That's the font, and that is bold. If I use bold there, that is I deal with the font color. That is on the border here. The border I can also outline. If I click OK, I click OK, and then I apply. I did not specify the color. The color was supposed to be okay. Now let me edit the rule format. The border, let me have none. I need to have the font color, and for Saturday and Sunday I use this color. Yes, font color. If you wanted to have the border there, you can have it, or you don't. But you can decide to have it outlined, the border outlined for those days. Then you click OK. It's just a matter of formatting. You click OK. If I apply, you see now it is working. And then you do the same for holidays. So I will still continue before another new rule. That is for equals to count if. We use count if equals to count if we said it is holidays, we are counting holidays, comma, holidays in $6, it is in C6, yes. If it is a holiday, those dates, it will check whether it is an holiday or not. Then I cross, it will format. If I say format, let me use outline. I use that. We used this color. And I click OK. If I click OK, apply, OK. Now you see it has applied for the whole thing. Now after that, then you are now good to go. So from here, you are good to go. Because from here, remember this, all this you will not be marking the register at this point. You will be marking the register from Tuesday up to Friday. So now you are done. After this point, what you are remaining with is to write just a small code that will be able to mark here. For instance, I can be marking now the register on Tuesday. If I use H is to mean the students have a day.
H.
And A is to mean the student is absent.
A.
And then A. So the last student is here.
A.
Is at the number row 23. If I also use A, is also absent.
A.
Then the rest I want to populate with the P automatically. So you only be writing the absent and the half day, but the rest it will be automatic by generating. So what we do, we write just a simple code that will be populating this one when you want to mark. So I go to developer, then I go to macros. Well, okay, before maybe I do that, let me have a formula. Let me have a formula here that will be doing the calculations from above. So like you saw here, I can have it here. I talk about total number of students. We talk about total number of students absent. Total number absent, or we start with present. Total number that is present. Then here we want a formula at this point.
Total number present.
We need a formula at this point. We talk about equals to. It will be counting. That is count if. We will be using count if. Count if. That is count if. Count if the range is from this point, that is this point, H7 2. So up to this point, up to the last one here, up to H23, count if that, comma, is P, and the P you make sure it is in quotes because it is a text. It's P in quotes. So we are counting if H, that is for present, up to that point is P. It will be showing the how many they are. Just a symbol like that. So we cross the bracket. I press enter.
0.
So in this case it's 0 because we don't have. Then we use the same count if to get the number absent. We also use count if here.
Number absent.
We use count if. So if I copy this one, if I copy and then I paste it here, yes, here, then I talk about up to H23. It was 23 here, and it's supposed to show me A to mean absent.
3.
Now there are 3. Then number, total number half day. So we want to see half day, how many they were. Total number half day is also, if I copy this same formula here, if I copy it, same formula, I copy and paste it here, then from there I am now able to make changes here up to 23, and then I have H. Press enter.
1.
So in this case there is 1. So I want now it to have the P's automatically, and to have the P's automatically, let me have just insert. I want to insert a symbol here, so that before I have a code for it, I want to have a symbol like this one. So I want to use it because it will be showing the percentages here. Let me have it here. Let me have it here, and then I write like I talk about mark, and then I need to have it at the. I go to home, I make it center and the mid row. Good. So if I have this one, I'll assign a macro to it, but I remember I was supposed to have total number absent. Okay, this one let me cut here. I cut, I place it there. I also cut this one, I place it here. I also cut this one. I need to cut this one also. If I cut, I place it here, so that now I need percentage present. I need percentage present. To get the percentage present, remember we need to get the total number here. So percentage present here is present, that is this one. So it will be equal to an equal sign. We need to have this one present. Remember, we shall also use the half a day, they are also present, but we shall multiply by a half. So it is this plus this one times half, that is this one, then plus this one times 0.5. Whatever you get, you can have them in brackets, so that or in small brackets apart, but it will do the same. That is calculation mathematically. You understand that it will do the same work. We cross this bracket. We cross this bracket. Then whatever you get, you will divide it by. It will be divided by the sum total of students. Remember, to get the sum total is this plus this plus this one. That is, even if I use that, okay, I can open another bracket on the lower side. I can open another bracket on the lower side. Then I talk about this one plus this one plus this one. I cross this bracket. I press enter.
0.375.
Now we shall be adding all that we divide by. So we also need percentage absent. Percentage absent. So the percentage absent. I'll also be using equals sign. So I need this one. That is the ones that are absent. all over the sum, that is bracket, you open the bracket, all over this plus this one plus this one. You close this bracket, you press enter.
0.2962962996.
Now it will be doing the percentages. I'll have it in percentage later, so I can have it these two. I format here the cell, I format here to percentage, and then I make maybe one decimal place. I also do this to percentage, and then I make it one decimal place. Now I'm good to go. Now it is a code. I go to developer. You will be doing a code for, you'll be changing, that's the range only for all the rest. So I'll do one, then the rest you do using, so I go to Visual Basic. This one already is existing, but let me have it, let me have this one, this code, and explain it. Let me just copy and have it in, okay, I can assign, let me explain this code. This is sub mark register. Then we have input value B. It's a sub procedure. So we have the input value is B. Whatever we are going to input is B, and the P must be in quotes because it's a letter. If it's a number, there is no need for a quote. And then the range is between. Now we are dealing with which range? We go back to our whatever we are doing here. We look at the range that we want is up to 23. Remember, we deal with H. H what? Our first year is H7 to H23. So that is our range. So we go here and talk about H7 to H23. H7. So I go back to developer. I go here. I talk about H. I'm using H7 to H23. To H23, in this case to H23. So in that say it has to select them, and then for each cell in the selection, if it is empty, if it's an empty cell, then the cell value, it is an input value, and the input value we know it is P. Then we end if, and then the next value, because we have used the for loop, that is the next for. So that is the simplest code, a very simple code that will be inputting P automatically to mean present. And therefore, if I go now back to here and assign this macro, that is assign macro, then I assign mark register. This is the first one here, mark register. I click OK. So if I use it, if I now click a marking, if I now click, you see it automatically puts the P's and the A's, because A's you had to put them, and the H you have to put manually, but the P's will be putting them automatically. And from there it will tell you the total number of students present are 13, those absent are 3, and those half day were 3, and 1 was there totally absent, and therefore the total number of students were 17, and the total percentage present is 85.3, and the percentage absent is 5.9. So you realize it's a very easy way of doing this, and then automating your work. This one can be used even for workers in any industry, and then you can now do for the month the same way we have done for just a day. You can do the same for the whole month, because you will be increasing the range from here to the end of the month, and then you will be changing your months like number. You will be changing your months and the dates. So you realized, like I was doing here, that you can change the months to May. You can change to another month, to any month. It changes. The months changes. The months are changing here. The months are changing. Remember our marking here, the formula was for that week only. So after doing that, you can create one that will be copying the data, so that after you fill for a whole week, before you change to another month, you are supposed to copy the data. So you can have another what we call VBA command that will be copying data to another cell. That one I can do for another tutorial, but for now I want to do this one. Thank you for listening to these tutorials, and sure you subscribe so that you are able to get more updates on this Excel, VBA, and Excel formulas and functions. Thank you.